Hi, I'm Greg Schaefer, and welcome to Quick Strike for Monday, January 30th, 2023. JD Sports says that 10 million customers were hit by a cyber attack. This came from the BBC. So, JD Sports is a sportswear chain that said stored data relating to 10 million customers might be at risk after it was hit by a cyber attack. The company said that information included names, addresses, email accounts, phone numbers, order details, and the final four digits of bank cards. The data related to online orders was between November 2018 and October 2020, and they said that the hackers may have accessed this information. They are contacting affected customers, and they said that the group said that the affected data was limited. It added that it did not hold full payment card data details and did not believe that account passwords were accessed by the hackers. I guess that part could be good. So if you do business with JD Sports, you may need to check into that, or you may have already been contacted. From Hindell Security, cybersecurity researchers uncovered a new strain of ransomware named Mimic. Mimic uses Everything API, a file search tool for Windows, to search for files to encrypt. Some of the code in Mimic is similar to that found in Conti, whose source code was leaked to a Ukrainian researcher in March 2022. You may recall that. As a sophisticated malware, Mimic can eliminate shadow copies, shut down various applications and services, and identify encrypted files using everything32.dll functions. Apparently, their components, an initial stage of a Mimic ransomware attack involves the victim receiving an executable on the target system. It extracts 4 files. You can read the article and get some more details on those files and IOCs. Now, I don't have a link for this, but you can search on it. NIST releases Artificial Intelligence Risk Management Framework, AI-RMF 1. And just reading a little bit from the document, while there are standards and best practices to help organizations mitigate the risk of traditional software of information-based systems, the risk posed by AI systems are in many ways unique. For example, they may be trained on data that can change over time, sometimes significantly and unexpectedly, affecting system functionality and trustworthiness in ways that are hard to understand. AI systems, in the context in which they are deployed, are frequently complex, making it difficult to detect and respond to failures when they occur. AI systems are inherently socio-technical in nature, meaning they are influenced by social dynamics and human behavior. Their risks and benefits can emerge from the interplay of technical aspects combined with other factors related to how a system is used. So these risks make AI a uniquely challenging technology to deploy and utilize both for organizations and within society. So check out that new standard out there from NIST. From Bank Info Security blog, Targets of Opportunity: How Ransomware Groups Find Victims. While some sectors are more prized than others, profits trump all considerations. Some sectors also appear to fall victim more than others. Now, this could include, for example, last quarter, ransomware incident response from firm Coveware reported seeing most victims hail from the public sector, followed by software services, healthcare, professional services, and the material sector. According to the blog post, comparing the last 3 months of 2022 to the third quarter, Coveware saw fewer professional services firms, including small law firms and financial services firms, getting hit, which it attributed to ransomware groups prioritizing larger, more lucrative targets. So then they say, cue the chicken and egg question. Do ransomware groups amass victims by focusing on preferred sectors, or are certain sectors merely more likely to end up falling victim? It's interesting. From Security Week, the effects of cybersecurity layoffs on the cybersecurity recruitment. We all know, of course, right now, unfortunately, there have been significant layoffs in the cybersecurity sector. On Friday, January 20th, 2023, for example, Google announced that it would lay off 12,000 employees. Amazon and Microsoft have laid off a combined 28,000 people. Twitter has reportedly lost 5,200 people. Meta 11,000. So it goes on and on and on. And they're not limited to the large firms. The article goes on to talk about, for example, OneTrust has laid off 950, Lacework 300, Cybereason 200, and so on. So Security Week examined how this layoff-induced influx of experienced professionals into the job seeker market is affecting or may affect the skills gap and recruitment in cybersecurity. They noted that the first observation is that current large-scale layoffs may slightly reduce the skills gap at the computer usage level, but will likely have little effect on the cybersecurity-specific talent gap where employment requires a knowledge of how computers work. The talent gap is simply too large, and layoffs in these areas are likely to be readily absorbed by new security startups and expanding companies. So if you want to hear more about that and understand more about that, check out the article. And then finally, we've got our list here. If I can go ahead and bring this up. This list is actually rather short. This is from Corzuant, I think I'm pronouncing that right. 3 essential proactive steps for keeping enterprises cyber secure. Ransomware, phishing, and malware are just some of the cyber attacks plaguing enterprises today, they say. As the pandemic spurred a shift in digital transformation and remote and hybrid work models, cyber criminals ramped up their efforts to exploit vulnerabilities associated with the digital economy. So let's see what their top 3 are. Number 1, provide cybersecurity awareness training. Okay, I can see that. That's kind of standard. Employees are often the weakest link in the chain to cybersecurity. They go on to cite data from Verizon's data breach report, 2022, 82% of breaches involve the human element. That may be the case, but there's always that question about, okay, just cybersecurity awareness training or making sure you have better technical controls in place. But I would say that that is one that is important. Number 2, take a zero trust approach. So they say here the zero trust framework for securing data and systems is based on the principle of trusting no one, not even an organization's end user. Enterprise should adopt zero trust for the continuous verification and authorization that minimizes cyber risk. Using this approach, enterprises can achieve more secure access while enhancing data protection, usability, and governance. As part of Zero Trust, enterprises should implement strong identity and access management, including multi-factor authentication and biometric technologies. So this is all good, and I think that this is wonderful, but if you don't have the fundamentals in place, meaning you don't understand where your information is, your confidential information is, and how it's being processed, how it's being reported, how it's being disposed of, you have to understand that first before you can effectively implement and manage any controls, including those involving zero trust. And then number 3, yes, I will agree with this, use secure by design technology to prevent data breaches. The article says any proactive approach to making enterprises cyber secure should include strengthening the security of tech stacks with the adoption of secure by design technology. They're basically saying that this is important to have security built in to a product or service or what have you, as opposed to trying to, quote, bolt it on later on, because you can do that, but it can never be more effective, I don't think. And often it just gets to be very cumbersome. And sometimes it gets to be so cumbersome that it's either ignored or greatly reduced. And that's it for our list for the day. And that's it for today's Quick Strike, with the exception of one thing. You're watching the video, you're probably seeing that, oh, this is a little bit different. If you're listening to it, you might be thinking, okay, the sound is a little bit different. Well, obviously, I am not in the office studio right now. I am on the road, and this hat is very important. I wanted to share it with all of you. I think I've mentioned before, my stepfather passed away last summer unexpectedly. It was very tough. And he was very active in the running community in his town, in his geographic area. And that running community held a race in his honor yesterday, and it was quite an emotional time. And to honor him, now both him and I are Air Force veterans, many years apart. But when I was in Desert Storm, he gave me his U.S. lapel pins that would go on the dress uniform. And that really meant a lot to me. And so to honor him, when I ran in that 5 mile run to honor him, this Air Force beanie, I put onto it these two of his pins from his uniform back when he was in the Air Force in the 50s. And then my Desert Storm ribbon up there, because that's when he gave it to me. So I didn't want to go on Monday without doing the quick strike. Had to do it from the hotel. Hope you all understand. Tried to keep a little bit of consistency here. So got a great episode coming up tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll see you back again on Friday with the wrap up. So until then, stay secure.